Hello and welcome to another episode of The Family Table. And today we will be making Ducana. Funny enough, it is a Caribbean dish, but not a lot of the islands know about it. So it is like a good secret, which I think that everyone should know, because they are amazing. They're very similar to conkeys, I would say. They're like the cousin to conkeys. But if you love sweet potato, you love coconut, trust me, this is amazing. And it's something different for you guys to try. So follow me as we get into this recipe. But just before we start, I really need you guys to hit the subscribe button so you'll know when I'll be releasing new content. Make sure you hit the thumbs up on this video. Make sure you share, and at the end, make sure you comment. So now let's get into this recipe. Okay, so for Ducana, you need some sweet potatoes. So this version, well, if you live in the UK, they call this the African white. You will need, especially I know if you live in the UK, do not buy the supermarket type of sweet potatoes. Kindly visit a Caribbean stall at your nearest market, or find you a Caribbean or Asian supermarket or African supermarket and buy some of their sweet potatoes. Those are much more starchy and much more solid, so they don't boil as quickly and get as mushy as the ones that will sell here in the supermarkets, which I think in America they're called yams. Some freshly grated coconut. So here I have 300 grams of grated coconut. I have 1 cup of sugar. I have half a teaspoon of black pepper, which is also optional if you do not like pepper. Half a teaspoon of salt. I also have about a tablespoon of freshly ground ginger. I like a bit of ginger in mine. It adds to the warmth. Well, it adds a bit of warmth and a bit of lift and a bit of kick. And here I have about 1/4 cup of self-raising flour, which is optional, but I put in mine because I think it helps to hold everything together. And because self-raising flour has that raisin agent in it, it makes it a lot, well, it helps it lift a bit, and it's not very stodgy. And this is optional, so I have about half a cup of sultanas or raisins, which depending on where you're from, there's always a big debate whether you want raisins in it or not. I'm not going to put this in all of it, so I'll separate the mixture. So that's all we need, so I'll show you the next. So we are about to start mixing. You can see the sweet potatoes changed into a brownish color, because normally if you peel sweet potato, you need to put them in a bit of water. But when they're exposed to the air, a bit of the oxidization, and it starts to change color. But on there you can see it's still pretty light in color. But never mind that. So to this, I'm gonna add my coconut, and I am gonna add the salt. And that salt is gonna help to bring out the flavors in the coconut and the sweet potato. And you guys already know I prefer to use my hands for mixing. The coconut will also help with the moisture from the sweet potato. Also, if you think that for you, depending on the sweet potato you use, because no potato is the same, that the mixture feels a bit dry, you can add just a touch of, just a tip of water, or maybe a tip of milk. Some people might use just so they can think. So now that that's been evenly incorporated, I'm gonna add that fresh ground ginger and that black pepper to the mix, and we just want to make sure all of this is just evenly mixed through. But like I said, these two are optional, so you can leave them out. And you just give that a good mix, good squeeze. And now this is time for the sugar. You can increase the amount of sugar in which you use. because depending on where you're from, some people like it to be very sweet. Some people like it a bit more on the savory side. But I like a nice balance. And then also be mindful the type of coconut you use. Sorry, I mean the type of sweet potato you use. Some have a higher sugar content. If you live in the UK, for example, if you go to the market or one of those African or Caribbean or Asian shop, you might see they selling what they call the Jamaican sweet potatoes. Those I find have a higher sugar content, so I would use like a bit less of the sugar. So now that I've mixed the sugar in this, the last step is just the flour, just to bring everything all together. And I know at this point it might not look as that appealing, but trust me, this is beautiful. This is done mixing. I'm gonna separate this into 2 portions, and I'm gonna add these to some. So I'm gonna have some plain and some with raisins, so everyone who's gonna have some of this can have something that they like. So those who like it with raisins can get raisins, and those who do not will not. So this is the mix. So now I'm just gonna wash my hands, and then I'll show you guys the next step. Okay, so I've separated my mixture. I've added the fruits or the raisins to these, or sultanas, whichever you have. And I've left this at plain. So now for wrapping, I will be using foil paper. Back in Montserrat, we'll use something called, well, to be honest, I don't know the name of the plant. I just know they call them Ducna leaves, but that's neither here nor there. But these work just as fine. I think once you have a great mix, they'll taste awesome. But yeah, so for the filling, we are gonna add a bit of the mix. So you want to add as much as you like, depending on how big you want your Ducna to be. So I'm not gonna add too much. So what I do now is I bring both sides together, and then I just give it a fold. And then what I'll do, I keep folding this down. And then you press that out, and then I fold in the edges. And there you have one. This one is pretty large. Okay, so one more time, put a bit of the mix. And you bring the foil up, and I am using strong foil. Fold together. And we are folding. If you double check my conkeys video, if you have not seen it, I do a longer tutorial of how to get it perfectly wrapped. So you guys have a look at that. And here we go. So I'll just continue the rest. So I've finished rolling, well, finished wrapping them. So these are the plains, and these are the ones with the sultanas in them, or raisins. So I have a total of 9, but you can get more or less depending on how big you want them. So what we're going to do now, or what you could have been doing while you're doing this, is to put a large pot of water on to boil, and then we are going to put these into them so that they can cook. So our pot of water is boiling, and all we're going to do is just place the Ducknas into the pot. And it is easy, just like that. And then now we're gonna cover it and allow it to cook or out to fully cook, fully steam. So I'll probably let this go for about an hour, well 45 minutes to an hour, so that I know that they are fully cooked all the way through. So our Duckna are finished now. So you can see the ones which we put the raisins or the sultanas in, and the plain one. So if you have a look at them, you see me touch, they're firm to the touch, but still very solid, and look at that. So that's the end result, and you can have these with saltfish and enjoy. Some, or you can even eat them by themselves, just depending on what you like. You can add a bit more sugar so it's a lot sweeter, a bit more salt. If you want it more on the savory side and decrease the amount of sugar you use, it's just all based on your personal taste. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. But before you go, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. You hit the thumbs up button on this video, and get down in those comment sections. Let me know what you think. Make requests of what you want to see me make next, and make sure you share this with everyone on all your social media. And that is it. So see you everyone. Bye.